Welcome to today's New Life Live podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by you. Your donations make this podcast possible. Please consider donating today using the New Life app, visit newlife.com, or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Well, welcome to New Life Live. This is Larry Sonnenburg. I get to sit in for Steve Arterburn today, and I'm here with Dr. Alice Benton in studio.
Hello.
And Becky Brown in her own studio in Indiana there.
Looks like a dance studio.
Yeah, she was rocking out doing the music.
That theme music, I never really quite knew that it had a beat before.
You caught the groove
I don't
today.
think anybody else ever did either, Becky. It's okay.
Come on, dance with me.
Oh, gosh. Hey, tomorrow is Pearl Harbor Day. And that's always something special for me because my dad was stationed in Pearl Harbor. And he got out of Pearl Harbor like 4 weeks before it was bombed and then went back in. But it was quite a thing. And I just remember asking him to go to Hawaii with us, Rhonda and I and the kids one year. And he wouldn't go. And I took pictures. This is before digital pictures. And I took photographs of a lot of the memorials. And then when we came home, I remember sitting next to him with a magnifying glass, looking at names on those memorials. And I remember tears just flowing down his face. And, you know, it was quite a tragic time. Mm-hmm. And we had our own Pearl Harbor here in 9/11 some years back. And I get a little fearful sometimes that our country as a whole, especially the younger generation, is not pausing to remember and not pausing to honor and not pausing to just respect what happened at those times and to give thanks for the times we're living in now and for the people that came to aid and people who helped. But it was an amazing time with the number of people that were killed and how that all happened. And I just wanted to acknowledge that here as we start the program.
It's a hard thing when we're talking about devastation. And I was thinking about, we're talking about a day to remember that devastation. And I was thinking about how many callers we have that have had devastation in their own lives. And there are things that come up for them on specific days, and they can't help but remember. And I think that's what trauma is all about. It's something that is incurred, that is buried deep within us. And, if this is part of what your life experience is, I want to encourage you to address it. In order to heal trauma, you've got to start to feel some of those things. And I know so many of us, it's just like buried away. I actually talked to a woman once who she had heard one of the shows, and it made her think of something that she had never told anybody before. And she honored me by sharing it with me, but she said, it's like, I have had it in this box all these years inside of me, and I can't put it back in the box anymore. And so it's affecting every day of my life, even though it happened 40 years ago. And I mean, Alice, I know that you have worked with people in the same kind of situation. It doesn't even matter what the initial trauma was. It really can affect the day-to-day life. And there are certain days that will trigger that.
Well, we think we can close it up, push it away. But as you're pointing out, Becky, it overshadows the present, and it can really color our reaction and overreaction to things in the present day. So doing the work benefits us. It's tough, but it's so worthwhile. It's a healing pain that we go through. And the benefits flow down through our family and to the next generation if we're willing to do it.
And you know what? You're going to have pain either way. So you might as well have pain of healing and growth as opposed to pain of trying to keep it buried and separate from your life.
That's such a good point.
It takes courage.
Yeah, people are afraid to walk into pain even though they're living in the pain. It's a different pain, but it will result in a better life afterwards and the healing that you're looking for. But
That's right.
We've got calls on the board. We're going to go take a call right after we get back from this break. So hold the line.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, welcome back. We are going to go straight to the phones. We're going to talk to Johnny. She's in Lubbock, Texas. Listens or watches on NRB TV. Hello, Johnny. How can we help you today?
Yes. First, that introduction was just so timely because that's where I've been intense for about a month. My question is going to be, it affects the whole family, starting with the father, the husband, and coming down to the children. And my question is going to be, what do I do? The background, we were married at 50 years, very young marriage, and then there was a divorce. After 5 years, we remarried. There was some counseling, but not enough as such. The only thing that got legal was the renewal of the marriage license. Everything is after 7 years of remarriage, everything is in the husband and children's name. And it's not about the things, but about the commitment and the priority. And out of that, I have a 30-year daughter that 30 years now has not acknowledged me as mom, the oldest daughter. And we just need help. I know there needs to be that unity, which there isn't, because the children, 2 daughters, youngest and older, they pull their daddy.
I'm so sorry, Johnny. That sounds like a whole lot of pain.
Yes, and this past month it surfaced, and I might insert here while I'm what really brought it out to the surface was that a granddaughter, the oldest granddaughter of the older daughter that doesn't acknowledge me as mom, she has cancer. And the daughter is still not acknowledging me as mom. And the father, the grandfather, is pretty much, staying in that line there. And it's just compound hurt that needs to be dealt with.
What I hear you saying, Johnny, is that there was a divorce, but you never recommitted, like the whole family never really got back on the same page. Is that like the gist of it?
What prompted the remarriage?
Yes.
That's what puzzles me. Why did you?
What prompted the remarriage?
If nothing changed, why did you remarry?
Well, the husband was wanting to be friends, and I thought that was the right thing to do.
Okay.
And we did have some premarital counseling, but I understand that some of these issues, looking back, were not addressed.
Alice, what's going through your head?
A legal protection comes to my mind for you, Johnny. If I understand there's a whole lot of relational and emotional disconnection, and I think I heard you say that everything is in your husband's name and your kid's name, and some of your kids aren't even talking with you. Are you concerned about your future with that?
Well, thankfully, through the divorce settlement, that I don't have the financial concern. I just know it's not right. It's, the commitment, the priority is not there. But as far as the financial, I don't, because of the divorce
You're
settlement.
secure. Okay. And what has been your best attempt to reach out to your daughter that won't acknowledge you as her mom?
Well, it's been long term. I have in the past tried to mail her even gifts to her children, my grandchildren, which were returned. And at one time, this goes way back because this is like 30 years at least, happened to be at her house and haven't been since, but asked her if we might talk, and I was ordered out of her house.
It's so sad, Johnny. It's so sad. It reminds me of so many families that are going to be going through this as we enter into the Christmas holiday where there's so much brokenness. Yes. And I wonder, outside of your family, I know that this is just such a hole in your heart. I can hear it just in the way you're describing it. And I'm wondering if you have people around you that are supportive, even in the midst of this pain. Girlfriends, sisters.
They keep moving away. They keep moving away. I have been blessed even by older widows that would, surround me with love and prayers. That's the only way I've made it this far.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about, because I can hear just the pain in your voice. And I think as we get older and families, when we have difficulties like this, the sadness just gets bigger because there's space for it. And so we want to be able to have a place where it can heal, even if the daughter doesn't, accept you again for whatever reason, Johnny. Who knows? That's the hard part. We don't know what's in her heart. But I would just encourage you to stay connected to whether it's your older widows group or maybe a sister or cousin or somebody that you're connected to by family, to encourage you even in this big gap in your family.
And Johnny, sometimes it works as an opening of the door. If we can acknowledge to our adult children, I know I wasn't a perfect mom, and here are one of the two of my biggest blunders I made that I know affected you. I know the divorce affected you. The remarriage was confusing. That's an example. Good. And if you ever want to talk with me about it, or if you ever want to meet with me with a therapist, because I'm working on myself and I'm trying to become a better person, please know that the invitation is open. Now, you always have to brace yourself for more rejection if you're going to offer that invitation, but it's a holy invitation, and it can kind of send some grace to your daughter that may soften her heart.
And it's funny. I want to say this, Alice. You just talked about something where, I've said to my kids, as a therapist myself, I've told my children I will pay for any therapy they need because I was their mother. Because how many times in sessions do we talk to people who it's like, if it's not one thing, it's their mother. So, you just don't know, right? And so I'm willing.
I wanted to say, Johnny, I'm really proud of you that you've been married over 50 years and you're still wanting to work on things. You acknowledge you need help. You've got a joyful spirit in the midst of a lot of pain. And I just want to say thank you for calling. And Becky's going to pick the right thing to send to you.
Well, I think How We Love would probably be good, because then maybe she could have an understanding of where her daughter's coming from, as well as her own healing that can still take place. Doesn't matter how old you are, as long as your heart's beating, God's got work for you to do and for healing to take place. And that's an encouragement, not something for you to feel weighed down by.
Thank you, Johnny, for your call. Okay, Andrew is listening in Morristown, Tennessee on WRJZ. Hello, Andrew. How can we help you?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good. It's such a long backstory. I'll try to make it short. I got an email last week from a woman I haven't seen since 1987.
Wow.
And when I knew her then, she was a little girl. Well, she was 16, I guess, and she had sort of, I guess she figured out I was somebody safe, and she kind of would hang around me in my church job, and I would give her little jobs to do, and, well, she tried to commit suicide in 1987, and I visited her in the psych ward, and then we moved. I moved 1,000 miles away, and didn't really stay in touch, other than I heard from her father a couple of times. It turned out she had been suffering terrible abuse at someone else's hands, and he didn't know about it. And that's why she had tried to take her own life. And that's the last I heard. I got an email from her last week. After all these years, she's stuck in an abusive marriage, and she's trapped, and she can't really get out. And it sounds like, from her description, I mean, that her abusive husband is closing the walls in more and more, so she can't go anywhere, she can't go do anything, she can't talk to anyone. And I don't know, it seems like even an email like that from someone that I haven't heard from in years sounds like a cry for help or something. And it's like, I don't think I can do anything. But it was a hard email to read, and I feel like
okay,
I must be reaching out because maybe there's no one else. I don't know. It was strange to get an email like that after 30 years.
Sure.
Andrew, what was your church job back then, and now what's your role with church?
I was the organist at that church, and she showed quite a bit of musical talent, so I would encourage her to sing solos occasionally, or sometimes she would turn my pages and pull stops. Not that I really needed that, but it was something fun for her to do, and it gave her a safe place to be, just she kind of wanted to hang around me at the time. And so I knew back then something was up. I mean, you could detect this anxiety from this girl, 16 years old, and I knew nothing about abuse or anything back then, but she just, she kind of touched my heart back then. And then when she slit her wrist and tried to kill herself, I was the first person that was asked to visit her in the psych ward. And, of course, I visited her, and I was terrified. I was a young man myself and didn't know anything. I didn't know what was going on. And now, like I say, I later found out from her father, who I very occasionally would contact or run across, more or less. And he sort of filled me in over the years on what had happened.
And Andrew, with the email she just sent you, did she ask something of you, or did she just inform you?
No, she did not.
Have you responded at all?
I responded right away. I was on the road on business, and I was in a little cafe by myself, and I opened this up, and I began to cry because I remembered her, and I remembered her personality, and it's like her personality that I remembered from 1987 just came right out. I remembered her so well, and I was very touched at the time with her, and then, of course, reading that email was pretty difficult.
But what was your response?
I think
I'm just
Andrew, I think what the problem is that it's triggering this pain of knowing that someone is in pain, and you feel pretty helpless. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you're saying, right?
I'm totally helpless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
totally
exactly.
Helpless.
And what I think, if you are in some way in touch with her dad, or somebody that is close to her, I think that you could either forward her email to the dad, and and just let him know, because there's nothing really that you can do.
Her
father passed away her father passed away 2 years ago. He was the only known contact I had with her.
But Andrew, you can point her towards help, because you are not equipped. You're not in a position to give her the help that she needs. But connecting her with us, giving her our phone number, connecting her with resources to people that can provide the help. You have power there.
I mean, because she was abused as a child, she went through lots of therapy. I know that is the case, and that I thought, she'd gone through therapy. I heard she had married quite a few years ago, and I thought everything was good. And all of this I've been heard through the grapevine, and then I find out, no, it's not good at all, and now she's sort of trapped, and it's getting worse.
But I think Alice made a great point. Refer her to New Life. Refer her to a pastor. Refer her to a counseling. But don't get involved and be her source, other than just saying, I wish I could help you, but I can't. But the thing I can do is refer you to some people that I know can help you.
And of course, pray for her. Pray for her that she'll accept that recommendation.
Yeah. But the last thing you want to do is get involved in a long-distance relationship with somebody in another marriage that is reaching out, looking for comfort as well as help.
That's right.
So thank you for your call. I want you folks to hold on. There's calls on the board. We want to get to you, but we'll come back right after this. New Life is always looking for folks to join the club. Join Club New Life. Call 800 New Life and ask what that is. We'll be right back.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, welcome back. I just want to say something before we go to another call. If you can't get through to the phone to call on the air on radio, or if that scares you to death because you don't want to air personal private things or people to hear your voice, or there's all kinds of reasons. But call us at 800 New Life. It's an easy phone call, and we have a staff there that's ready to help you. It doesn't matter what your situation is. It doesn't matter if it's a marital relationship, a parenting thing, anger, depression, grief, anything at all. Give us a call. We're here to help you. That's what we're here for.
And you know what else? You all can download our free app at your app store, whatever phone you're using. But we have articles, we have videos, we have tip sheets, we get all kinds of help on there as well. So that could also be a very good help. So look for New Life Ministries on your app store.
Okay, let's talk to Jean. Jean is in Bowie, Maryland, and listens on WAVA, another WAVA listener. How are you, Jean? How can we help you?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear us?
I've had some... yes, Am I too loud for you?
No, just keep talking.
Okay, I've had some complaints about my telephone. I had some trouble with the volume button on it. I'm glad you can hear me, and I'm glad for you to take my call. I'm glad to get to talk to you. I want to thank you for your wonderful program.
Thank you.
It's such a tremendous help and ministry to the body of Christ and to unbelievers who might listen in. We get so much good information from you, so we don't feel so odd with the problems that we have. You help us somehow or another to know that we're members of the human race.
That's
and that
right.
Others have similar problems, and you offer good suggestions. I need to ask you this question. Have you all considered, or are there any plans underway to provide us with any materials on the subject of paranoia, schizophrenia? How does a family member really know that another family member is paranoid schizophrenic, as opposed to them being bipolar or just post-traumatic stress disorder? Have you considered providing us with any books or writings on it, or any CDs on it?
We have. I actually helped write Understanding and Loving the Person with Bipolar Disorder. So there is one of those. We haven't done schizophrenia yet, but I would say, and I know, Alice, you probably had something that you wanted to add on this, but I think a lot of times we've got to be real careful about diagnosing someone else when we're not equipped to do that. And I would say if you're concerned about your loved one having any of those diagnoses, it would be really important for them to get into help, to get to a person who is able to really get down to what is going on with that person.
What makes you ask, Jean?
Well, my mother passed 5 years ago. She was just a wreck, and she wouldn't go for help. And whenever she wasn't in that, whatever it was, in the grip of it, she was the nicest person in the world that you want to be around. But whenever whatever it was would grip, she was the worst person in the world that you ever wanted to be around. And she lived that way, and she would drink, near the end part of her life. She drank every day to be able to rest. She said the voices talked to her, and they told her to be mean to people. And if she didn't, they would threaten, to harm her. And she was just a very miserable soul. And I have a sister who exhibit some of her traits, not to that far extreme. My mother even shot a lady, beat our next door neighbor almost to death, and behind these voices that would talk to her. But this sister is not violent, but she's violent with her words. She can say things that cut you to the bone. Vicious, hard-hitting things. And then maybe you talk to her a week later, and she's a totally different person. It's as if she doesn't even remember having said or done the mean things. So I have your material on the bipolar, how to love and understand a person with bipolar, and also post-traumatic distress.
Great.
And all of those that you have done. But I just don't have anything on paranoid schizophrenia.
Jean, I want to point you to the National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI is the short version, because it's a support group for family members of those who have mental illness. And not only do you get information there about the particular symptoms related to each diagnosis, but you get a lot of support in how to love your family member, how to protect yourself from your family member when they're verbally abusive or when they're physically violent. And so it's a terrific resource, and it's an ongoing support that you could receive while you're trying to figure out how to deal with your sister.
Okay, it's called the National Alliance on Mental Illness.
That's right.
Is that the name of it?
Yep, and they have groups all over the place.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that information, and I still just, would just...
Yeah, thank you for the suggestion.
About doing some material for us.
We'll do that. And thank you for your call. Just want to...
It's so hard. I was going to say, it's so hard when you have a mental illness like that. I mean, if it is schizophrenia or even paranoia or alcoholism, I mean, it could be any of those things. We are affected by those people that we are related to and that we love. And it's hard, but it's good to find good help.
Okay, be right back. And we're going to talk to Rachel next. So hold the line, Rachel.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay in the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you a set of 4 devotionals, 100 Days of Character, Peace, Prayer, and the newly released 100 Days of Healing. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, we are back. And before we take our last call, Alice, you had something you wanted to add related to the last call we just had.
Jean makes me think about the heritage that we all receive from our parents. And it's the unseen heritage, both spiritual and emotional. And we're affected by that heritage, whether we know we have it or not. And there are 2 strong ways of dealing with it. Getting our checkup from the neck up. We can all benefit from that because there are things we can't see about ourselves, but that are very likely affecting the people around us. But there's also a spiritual side to it. And taking authority over our heritage, blessing it, forgiving our ancestors whose behavior has affected us. There's some powerful healing that can come from that sort of prayer work.
It also helps to know your heritage. I mean, it used to be when we weren't infiltrated by so much media, and it doesn't matter if it's social or otherwise, we're media, but, we would hear the stories of the family, or we would have those experiences, and we'd have a better understanding about ourselves. And it's really important to know where we come from, because it does affect you, just like you were saying, Alice.
I'm always amazed at how much stays with you from being a little kid, because I can hear my dad's voice today saying certain things in certain ways, and I swore I wouldn't be like him, and now I am him. And so, it's an interesting topic. We should do a program on that one day.
I've learned to do work with folks from the womb, from conception on, because if a parent didn't want their child and they had that frame of mind, even that affects a kid.
Him.
But we can help work through that and heal that.
Go.
And one of our favorite co-hosts, David Stoop, talks about the healing of forgiveness in families. And he wrote that book, Making Peace with Your Father. Yeah. And I tell you, if any of our listeners are struggling with the father figure in their life, whether, they're still alive and you're still struggling with them or they've
not.
Passed already.
Yeah,
they have, he has just so perfectly put in that book, just a path of healing. And you know what? You may not ever get the perfect father. You won't get the perfect father, right? I mean, God's our perfect father, but our our earthly father impacts us. And so if that's a place where you're stuck, give us a call at 800-NEW-LIFE and get a copy of Making Peace with Your Father by Dave Stoop.
Good deal. Let's go talk to Rachel, Philadelphia, PA. Listens in Boyertown, WBYN. Hello, Rachel. How can we help you?
Hello, thank you so much. And may I quickly, you have helped me over the years. I pop in and out listening, and it's a spurt, but years. We're talking decades. I've been listening to you guys, supporting over the years.
Thank you, Rachel. Rachel, your voice is going in and out a bit, so if you can just speak right into it.
Are you on a speakerphone?
No, actually,
there it is.
That's clear. Whatever you did worked, so keep going.
Okay. So immensely you've helped me, and you were instrumental in helping me save my, marriage.
Okay,
God
thank you.
Worked with you guys, and we're still a work in progress, but I had to actually file for divorce for things to turn around. It broke us all up, and that was after, many, many years of, anyway, that's not the question.
So what's your question?
I just want to let you know how much gratitude I have for you guys in your ministry.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Well, Rachel, what did you guys stay married?
We are married. We are a work in progress, but I had to file, and that actually, was not a quick decision. I agonized over it. I did my work, and he just wasn't coming around. And that actually one of your people over the phone, I'd called in and I laid it all out, and he said, well, you really don't have any other choice but to file. So I did, and that gave me just enough confidence that, okay, yes, I have done everything I can do, and I will stand, and the Lord fought my battle and woke my husband up, and well, we're still a work in progress. It's not like, but aren't we all? But I am so thankful for you guys and your ministry, because you were definitely a part of...
Well, how can we help you today?
Yes, thank you so much. Such a lesser question, but one that plagues me all my life, is not feeling like I am enough. We are with the holidays here, and we get to extended family, and it's a me problem, not the extended family problem. They're fine, they're nice, they're gracious, we're always excited. But the thing is, I just feel like, okay, by Christmas, I'll have lost, 10 more pounds, and I'll look that much better, and I'll feel more acceptable, or I'll be where I want to be, or okay, so that didn't work out. So okay, we all get together for 4th of July. Okay, so I'll be there then. I'll be put together by then, and I just never feel like I'm enough. I'm not adequate. I'm not adequate enough.
So we do an exercise at our Restore workshop where we identify these lies that we carry around with us. And one of the typical lies that we all have is I'm not enough. And and it's so hard because we live with it so long that it becomes the white noise in our head. Like everything gets kind of blocked by the fact that we're not enough, or we believe that we're not enough. And the hard truth about this is that we are enough. God has created us in his image and loves us, but it's really hard to break through that belief of I am not enough. And so I know that sounds very simplistic, Rachel, but what I would encourage you to do is to start to replace that with the truth. And, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. Everything from, I'm sure Alice is going to chuckle at me when I say this, but, we would put a rubber band around our wrist, and every time you have that awareness, you snap that rubber band, and it kind of interrupts that thought process in your head that, that you're saying, I am not enough, so much that it just becomes ingrained in the way that you think. Yeah, I was going to say, Alice, where's the expert in this?
No, I agree. And what that technique you give, it is effective. I also see this as a spiritual warfare, because I think these are some of the enemy's fiery darts that he loves to get us caught up in this negative self-talk. So I want you to consider that the inadequacy, it's not you. It's something outside of you. It might even be the enemy. And so making a prayerful statement like, I do not align myself with this inadequacy. I am loved. I'm accepted by God. That's a strong prayer. And when we speak truth aloud, we rebuke the enemy. And it allows us to hold up that shield of faith to defend ourselves against the fiery darts. And I'll add just one other thought. This sounds like it must be historical. Since the family is treating you well, other people aren't treating you like this. And so tracing back in your mind to some of the earlier experiences where you started to feel so inadequate and telling that story to some safe people in your life, I think there's some historical healing to do to help you accept yourself as you are.
Okay. Yeah, that's good stuff.
It also, whenever we believe those lies, it keeps us from being present with those that are around us, because we're always evaluating ourselves. We're not able to fully love and fully be present because we've always got this exception and this evaluation that's going on in our head. And, just remind yourself that you are loved, and, just see how you can reconnect with the people that are around you.
Rachel, Becky, I think of the book Healing as a Choice, because I think of the 10 truths and the 10 lies that book goes through to help people. And you're talking about lies, Alice, made me think of that. But I think it's a good call, Rachel, especially during the holidays when we're all going to be gathered around tables eating, and we all have some inadequacy feelings coming at us from time to time.
Oh, yeah, and if you see any social media where everybody's got the perfect tree and the perfect setup and perfect kids and the perfect outfits, and then the Christmas cards come and all the things. Not that I have any issue with that.
But thank you for your call. Talking about sitting around the table at Thanksgiving, I don't know if I'm going to have the courage to do this tomorrow. Because
you mean what you did in Thanksgiving?
No, what I want to do. What I want to do is everybody checks their cell phones in at the door, and at the dinner table there are no cell phones present. I don't care if you want to show pictures. I don't care if you want to not miss that email from your brother in Cincinnati, or I don't know. But
I love that.
I think we ought to try that once. Take us back a little further than where you have to. I was at breakfast yesterday morning. There was a man and I think they were husband and wife. He was reading a book. She was across the table. She was doing a crossword puzzle. There was another couple at another table, just a couple tables away, and they were each on their cell phones sitting across from each other.
Maybe they were texting each other.
It was a Norman Rockwell picture in two generations. It was really kind of funny.
Yes.
But
That's right. For the Christmas present for you, Larry, we'll check our phones in a basket before we come into the dinner table, okay?
All right. Thank you. Okay, we have another call to take. We'll do that right after the break. Thank you for listening to New Life. We're going to be back right after this.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, we're back. Before we go, and we're going to speak with Jill here in just a second, I want to just remind folks, we have some workshops coming up. We got Every Man's Battle coming up in January the 10th, Washington, D.C. Intimacy and Marriage, that's Valentine's Day weekend in Orange County. Restore, Hope for a Woman's Heart, February 28th in Orange County. And then we're going to do, I want to also, especially as we're getting near Christmas, remind you folks, we have a great Christmas gift you could give a loved one. That is a Rhine River cruise. We're going on September 28th to October 5th. And so look into that as well with us. But
you can find it all on newlife.com. And, you could always call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and get all the details on that. I would hope that as you are looking at 2020, isn't that crazy? When you're looking at 2020, that you get a new vision for a new life, and that if you haven't gone to a workshop or if you've been thinking about it, that 2020 is going to be your year, or maybe even 2020 is the year that you join Club New Life. You've been listening to the program forever, and know that it's been a blessing to you. But just to help us to continue doing what we do, which is to help people find help, and so.
And and last plug is as we approach year end, a lot of people give at year end special gifts, and you might be trying to decide, do I give it to this ministry or that? Well, this is the ministry to give it to.
Amen. Amen.
We just need your help. We want to keep helping one at a time. We're like the little boy throwing the starfish back into the sea. We can't get them all, but boy, the ones we get, we make a difference. Okay, we're going to talk to Jill in Seattle, Washington, KGNW. How can we help you, Jill?
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I just have a question, brief. I've been divorced 3 years, not my choice. I was married over 20. Next year I'll be completing a second master's degree in psychology. I just want to know thank you very much. I appreciate that. Onward to a doctorate, actually. However,
awesome.
Knowing all the clinical applications, etc., I just wondered, when I see acquaintances that I haven't seen in years or have run into now, and they want to know what happened, they're very shocked, all that. How much do I share of actually what happened, because I don't believe in blame or projection, or he is a wonderful person in his profession, not character, however. So how much actually do I share? Because they just have that look of aghast on their faces. That's my question.
And Jill, why did you get divorced? What happened?
Oh, like I said, I didn't want to. It was kind of the same situation as Sherry Keffer was in for over 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that what you're saying, Jill, is so, it's powerful, because you're trying to heal from this devastation. I mean, literally, but, you're doing your work. And when you have people who haven't been part of the story, it's kind of like kicking that wound open again. And it doesn't make you feel good to go through the whole story. Plus, not everybody needs to know everything. So I think that there's, there are people in your life that probably already know all that they need to know. Would that be true?
That's true. And also, like I said, I don't believe in deflection or blame or anything. And because of ethics, et cetera, in the job and the career choices and everything, it could be very dicey if word gets out. So
right.
I just don't believe in that. So
it's his. So you're saying it's his story to tell, so to speak. What sounds? I'm sure you've thought about this. What is something that you have thought about saying in response to what happened?
Oh, I just say. I kind of deflect the situation and just kind of turn it inwards to myself and say, how have you been? And then they kind of get the message, and I just say, I am continuing with school, or always with school. And I just kind of gently, graciously change the subject and ask about them.
So one way, does that feel okay to you, though? It sounds like it still feels a little...
It feels
clumsy.
It feels okay in the moment. It feels okay in the moment. I don't want to burden anybody,
Well, I think, that's very gracious of you. I think an answer, something along the lines of, it wasn't what I had hoped for, and I'm continuing to move on, and, because you are. I think that people will take that,
Very busy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I'm asking the question, I will get the hint real strong if you just give a general answer that is not specific. Like Becky was saying, things didn't work out.
Okay.
Rather not, or I don't think it helps to go into detail.
That's a great answer right there, Larry.
Yeah.
It doesn't help to go into detail. It's not what I wanted, and move on. Even if you don't want to say that, you don't have to. But I love that, that response.
I just think it's helpful to say something without saying anything, and the message gets across that you don't want to talk about it, and then ask about the weather, or how about them Dodgers, or whatever you want to say.
Okay, yeah, because I have great respect still for, even though I feel there's some character things there, but I have great respect for everybody, and it takes two, and yeah.
Well, Jill, with some people in your life, if you want to give a little bit more, I think you also have every right to, and it's not dishonoring your husband if you need to say something like, because of my husband's choices. With people that are more intimate to you, I don't think that would be a sin or that would be wrong to add something just as vague as that would be okay to do.
I have with my friends from 40 years. Yes, okay. I have a couple of them.
Well, and Jill, I would encourage you to continue to do your own work as you're learning in your studies, because this is a healing process.
And I've read I've read many books, as well you can imagine, not only for my coursework, but yes.
One of the most powerful things I think in all of our healing process, and we talk about this all the time at New Life, is the power of the group. And to find a group of folks, whether it's going to, we talk about 12-step groups all the time, Life Recovery, Al-Anon, all the time, Codependent Anonymous, where we can be totally who we are in a safe environment, and to, just voice the things that are in our minds all the time. But I would just encourage you to find the support around you as you continue to do this work, just to know that you're going to be okay. You're doing well.
Thank you, Joe, for calling us. Appreciate that a lot. I want to close. Book of Ephesians is a great prayer book. Mm-hmm. And there's a passage here that I love, and I just want to close and give you this thought as we close. I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened, in order that you may know the hope to which he has called you, the riches of his glorious inheritance in his holy people, and his incomparably great power for us who believe. That power is the same as the mighty strength he exerted when he raised Christ from the dead and seated him at the right hand of the heavenly realms. So, that's available to us. That's why we do what we do. We just want you to experience the healing power of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And it's our job here, I think, at New Life to direct you to that, to help you find it, to set the stage, to make you so uncomfortable that you'll take a step to get back to where God wants you to be. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Alice. It's fun doing radio with you guys. And look forward to you folks coming back again and listening in next week. We'll be back.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.